And now, Load and Ready Run Musical Theater presents Rats, the Musical.
Two, three, all alone with his ones. I can sack them for value, or just swing them full send. What? Oh, really? But how am I going to tell them about my commander deck? Are you sure? Because like I had a whole dance number with like singing little insect tokens that would... Okay. I'm going. Well, if I can't do a song and dance, I guess it's time for another LRRMTG deck tech. With me, Ben Ulmer. It's time for Fairy Tales and Dragon Scales in the new set Wilds of Eldraine, now with 50% less elk. In this fantasy realm, there are all kinds of fairy tale creatures and heroes gallivanting around. And while I'm excited to see more talking food and winged playful pranksters, what's really got me hyped is all the support for one of my favorite typal strategies, rats. So without further ado, say hello to Totentanz, Swarm Piper, and a deck I'm calling the AristoRATS. Totentanz, Swarm Piper, is a 2/3 human warlock bard for 1 black-red that reads, whenever Totentanz or another non-token creature you control dies, create a 1/1 black rat token with this creature can't block. And for 1 and black, they give target attacking rat you control death touch until the end of turn. Yes, a Rakdos rat commander is finally here. A Ratdos commander? Black has typically been the go-to color when it comes to rat buddies, but Totentanz's red pip allows you to create a super cool AristoRATS style deck, but with an added ratty twist. But first, let's talk about our rat core, the rat pack, if you will. Marrow-Gnawer, Ogre Slumlord, Piper of the Swarm, and Mad Ratter are the bread and butter of the deck, kickstarting your army of vermin. You've also got brand new friends like Lord Skitter, Redcap Gutter Dweller, and the new instant Song of Totentanz, which very thematically duty-doots your fluty flute with as much mana as you want to throw at it to make a pile of fuzzy cheese boys. And yes, you better believe we've got a Rat King up in here. Tangled Colony is kinda like Hornet's Nest, only when it dies you create X 1/1 rats, where X is the amount of damage dealt to it this turn. Did somebody say blasphemous act? But of course, these rats aren't just numerous and terrifying, they're also huge and terrifying. Nashi and Ink Eyes are the cream of the crop when it comes to powerful rat friends with powerful effects, with Nashi and Ink Eyes' ninjutsu abilities looking extra nice when your opponents won't be blocking your puny 1/1 death-touching rats. And since your opponents are already saying no blocks, why not slam down Kuromonix, the Rat King? With them on the board, you give your army of rats each toxic 1 and become everybody's favorite player after you knock out half the table with poison damage. So we're set for rats, but what about the aristocrats part? Don't worry, we're not just going to be swinging with our rats, we'll also be sacrificing them to the great rat in the sky for some big time value. Aristocrat staples like Blood Artist, Zulaport Cutthroat, and Garna, Blood Fist of Keld, will be pinging things all over the place whenever our rat friends die, with Garna doing bonus work with our friend's species specialist to draw us cards. Of course, since a lot of these deaths will be from tokens, this list also includes Mirkwood Bats, since what else is a bat but a rat of the sky? Of course, what's an aristocrat's deck without sacrifice outlets? Chittering Witch, Ayara, and Ashnod's Altar are all here to turn your rodent pals into value. And while I know that this is a rat deck, I think we can have 1 or 2 cats as a treat. Mahadi, Emporium Master, is busted in decks like this because they give you a treasure token for each creature that died this turn on your end step. Cats and rats, together at last. Now I promised you that this deck would be operating with a twist. And so far, all I've done is give you a heaping helping of aristocrat stew with nothing to dip in it. Well, get ready to defy gravity because we're going all in on the new Wicked roll mechanic. The Wicked roll is an aura that gives enchanted creature +1/+1, and when the aura leaves the battlefield, each opponent loses 1 life. Why yes, that would be yet another way to slowly drain the life away from your opponents. But how do we give these rolls out? Well, it's time to load up with witches, because after all, what else is a witch but a rat of the ground with a cauldron and opposable thumbs? Witch's Mark, Conceited Witch, Shatter the Oath, Charming Scoundrel, and the Witch's Vanity are but a few of the cards that allow you to slap the Wicked roll onto a creature you control. But the main star of the show is Twisted Sewer Witch, which not only makes a rat friend, she also gives a Wicked roll to each rat you control. That's a lot of understudies. And if you want to get really gross, cast Plague of Vermin just before you cast Twisted Sewer Witch to make a ludicrous amount of rats. And if your opponents were also foolish enough to pay life, then all you have to do is sack enough rats to dome them out. Once you've amassed a ton of Wicked rolls, you can take advantage of new cards like Lord Skitter's Blessing and Warehouse Tabby to give yourself even more rats. Or cash in all those rolls with Lich Knight's Conquest or Malevolent Witch Kite, which allows you to sack as many rolls as you want to reanimate that many creatures to the battlefield, or draw that many cards. And of course, since you're practically overrun with rats and enchantments, you'll always be able to get maximum value from the new bargain mechanic with cards like Beseech the Mirror, Back for Seconds, and Rowan's Grim Search. And while of course we have our new friend Lord Skitters making an appearance in the deck, what about our old friend, Old Flitterfang? Not only do they allow us to sacrifice rats to pump them for big swings in the air, they also make a food token on each end step if a creature died that turn. And after all of this, if somehow your opponents are still alive, why not slam down Shared Animosity? Give your rats a huge boost, and then make your opponents do the math. I'm so happy that Eldraine has given us a ton of new rat tech to work with. No longer will a rat commander deck just be a pile of relentless rats. Rats is now a fully fledged beatdown strategy with cool enchantment sub-themes. My only problem is that I'm not always the best when it comes to seeing the intricate lines of play in aristocrat strategies. But I have a solution. See, who better to pilot a rat deck than a rat? I have this hat that I can put on, and then the rat goes underneath the hat and controls my turns for me, and it makes sure that I don't miss any triggers or... Oh, come on!